Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the second round of our international teams rodeo here in the Spotless Arena between arch rivals New Zealand and Australia. Tonight will feature Australia's toughest and roughest cowboys and cowgirls in saddle bronc, bareback, bull riding, steer wrestling, and without any doubt, the fastest and slickest of them all, the ladies' bell racing competition. Last night proved to be successful for the green and gold team. They broke out and won the match 22 points to 9. Tonight is a very, very integral part of the overall 6 nights competition, with a team from New Zealand needing to bounce back here in our second qualifying competition. Well, ladies and gentlemen, so we can get underway with the series tonight, let's welcome into the arena, led out by the team captain from New Zealand, Ross Dowling and the Kiwi Cowboys. Come on, Sydney, let's make them feel welcome in the land down under. And without any doubt, tonight we see probably Australia's toughest team. Without these guys, this country would not survive. Let's welcome them. The green and gold, the machine, the Australian Cowboys from the Outback regions, led in by Robert Bandy, team captain.
Good luck, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, prior to the commencement of each of our major sporting events in this great nation of Australia, we take the time and the opportunity to listen to the songs of the nations competing. And first, I'd like to welcome to the Spotless Arena to sing the New Zealand national anthem from the Australian Institute of Music, Sasha Saunders. Can everyone please be upstanding for a few more moments? And gentlemen, to remove your hats.
Hey o atua onai wi matora atafakaronga me aroa noa kia hua kote pai kia tatoa tawhai mana kitia mai Aotearoa. God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God, defend our free land. God, Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard how far. God, defend New Zealand.
And ladies and gentlemen, to sing our very own Australian national anthem, Zach Selms.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a magnificent round of applause for Zach and Sasha from the Australian Institute of Music. Well, folks of Sydney, let's give the Cowboys and Cowgirls one more big rowdy welcome back to the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Where do you start, buddy? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we first welcome into the arena tonight our pickup riders for the bareback bronc riding, the Kelly Boys from the Horton Valley of New South Wales, second generation horsemen, part of the saddle bronc and bareback riding series of competition. Well, let me very quickly describe to you our international team rodeo rules. First event is the balanced ride of rodeo, the bareback bronc riding. Many people describe this as the suicide ride. Now, there's absolutely no control over the wild bucking horse. The riders hang on to a suitcase-type handle. The qualifying period is 8 seconds. Now, that can seem like an eternity. Now, the first contestant out for New Zealand is Matto Taylor. Matto's 27 years of age, from Courier on the South Island of New Zealand. He works as a livestock agent. Horse that he's drawn from the famous Gill brothers is the Highland Shuffle. Hey, look at this, folks. New Zealand have bounced out good. This young man can ride. He's solid in the front. He makes that long, smooth spurring action. Hey, where's all the New Zealand Kiwis here tonight, folks? A big round of applause as our first New Zealand cowboy makes that 8-second ride. Well, folks, he's on the ground. Let's welcome a first-time contender for the country of New Zealand. Last night, qualified in this event with a 69-point score. Judges of our competition here tonight, Mr. Jeff Edwards and Mark Palmer. 1 to 25 points from each of the judges. Scores come through, 72 points for New Zealand, 72 points, a great way to get us started. Hey, let's go Team Australia from Western Australia, from Binnadoon in the west. This is Jared Oversby. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jared was the 2012 Australian bareback riding champion. He competes in bull riding and bareback riding. He's the only ever Western Australian bareback riding champion. Hey, welcome him to the Spotless Arena tonight from Binnadoon, Western Australia, Jared Oversby. Well, a score of 70 points from the officials for Team Australia, 70 points. So in the actual matchup, that'll be 2 points to New Zealand and 1 for a qualified ride to Team Australia. Let's come back down to our next contestant in the competition. This will be Team New Zealand. This time from Twizel, South Island, Stu de Ryder, 31 years of age. He works as a farmhand. Horse that he's doing, it's Cat Baloo time. Hey, once again, the New Zealand boys, they've come back with a vengeance. Hard spur and front end riding cowboy. Siren sounds, ladies and gentlemen. He has made the 8-second siren. Now it's up to the pickup riders, the Kelly boys. David Kelly moves in. What an amazing job they do, folks. Safely on the ground, our Kiwi contender, Stuart de Ryder. $69 points, Stu, 69 points from our officials, but more importantly, it is a qualified ride. 69. Well, we're going to take you to another Australian competitor from Croydon in far north Queensland. This is Jack Kidd, Mistaken Identity. He made a qualified ride of 68 points last night. He is over 2,500 kilometres from his homeland. Hey, look at this. The North Queensland Circuit Champion, Jack Kidd for Team Australia. Is he going to make the 8? Well, folks, you've got to put your hands together for him. That is a qualified ride in the bareback bronc riding competition. Well, the numbers come through. He may be from Croydon in far north Queensland, but boy, he is a proud Australian. 77 points for the North Queensland rookie, Jack Kidd. Well, he has set the scoreboard alight. That's the highest score in the bareback riding so far at our show. But it'll be 2 points to Team Australia, 1 to New Zealand. Well, let's go with Mark Tweedy, Waikiki, the 2015 Rookie of the Year in the bareback bronc riding. He's 36 years of age. Let's see what he gets done. And the New Zealand boys have come back with a vengeance. Boy, I'm not too sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he has been bucked off. He has taken a no score. Folks, he is in a little pain at this point of time. Your round of applause of support will be his only reward. Sydney, I think we deserve a big round of applause for the young boy. Let's put our hands together. Mark Tweedy. And a full credit to the very famous Gill Brothers Rodeo Company. They do an amazing job with the presentation of their rodeo stock. They have a breeding program there in the Horton Valley of New South Wales. And these guys have devoted their entire life to the stock and the rodeo stock that they supply here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Well, as our next competitor, he's from New South Wales, Cody Anglin. Born and raised in a little town called Wantabadgery. He won the highest score last night with 76 points. He's been a two-time Australian professional bareback riding champion from the famous Anglin family from Wantabadgery. This is Cody Anglin. Hey, look at this, Sydney, world-class Australian champion in action at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you only see rodeo here but once a year. Let's hear for the boy from Wantabadgery, Australia. Well, as our judges now have the task of accruing points to the individual contestants, numbers come through. 76 points. 76 points for Team Australia. 76. So that'll be 2 points once again to the green and gold boys. Ooh, no scores to the New Zealand competitors. Well, after the first round of the bareback bronc riding competition, hey, Sydney, looking at the scoreboards, we got New Zealand 3, but Australia 5. Well, if you'd like to draw your attention down to what we call the time event end of the arena, you'll see that the two competitors compete in a tandem competition. It is called steer wrestling. It's an event generally dominated by the bigger and stronger contestants in the sport of Australian rodeo. In this event, you'll see a light system that releases the steer into the arena. Of course, the red light gives an indication we're about to proceed. Amber light gets set to run, and the green lights, steers and contestants will be released. Well, let's go with the first of our New Zealand matchups, Greg Lamb. 37 years of age, he's a farmhand. Waikiki. He competes against Blake Hallam, the 2014 National Steer Wrestling Champion of Australia. Now, Blake makes his home in the country music capital of Tamworth. Last night, he had a time of 9.1 seconds. Now, in this particular event, the competitors have the opportunity to utilise what we call a hazer. The hazer's job is to align the steer while the contestant dismounts from his galloping horse. Watch the lights. There'll be red, amber and green. They're out and they're running. New Zealand gets down. New South Wales Australian contestant. Hey, it's 2 points. It'll be 2 points on that occasion to the New Zealand Kiwis. Team Australia were just out a little too early. Now, Blake Hallam's going to try and pick this up. This is going to be very, very difficult to manoeuvre. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, he tried for his team. Let's put our hands together for his efforts here tonight. But it's going to be 2 points to the New Zealand Cowboys after that section of the steer wrestling competition. Now, in this particular event we're watching, the competitors ride what we call in the equine industry as the Australian quarter horses. And as their name applies, a quarter of a horse is the fastest horse on earth over 250 metres, or a quarter of a mile in the old terms. They've got a very heavily muscled appearance. They've got a long, defined, sloping shoulder. But the hindquarters is where the power comes from for that lightning fast speed. They're very agile, they're athletic. And as we get ready to go with our next matchup, in the steer wrestling competition, we go to Taupo, New Zealand, for David Gibson. Now, David works as an engineer, and he's matched up against our 2012 Australian steer wrestling champion, Glenn Chave. Now, Glenn's dad, Russell, competed in the steer wrestling many years ago at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. He's a second-generation farmer. His mum and dad still have a great cattle operation there in the northwest of New South Wales in Walgett. Horses go back into the box, so you've got the 2012 Australian champion, Glenn Chafe, matched up in the steer wrestling competition with David Gibson. Taupo, New Zealand, scores at this stage 5-all, New Zealand and Australia, in what's shaping up to be a tight and tense tussle here in the steer wrestling competition. Gates are back, Cowboys are down. New Zealand, well, they stayed in the saddle. Now Australia needs a time on the board, and it's going to be 2 points. 2 points on that occasion. 2 points in that steer wrestling competition. Team Australia will give them a valuable 2 points. Well, at this point of time, that 2 points will be valuable for the steer wrestling competition. Following this event, we go back to the bucking chutes. Let's watch this on the big screen. Now, the New Zealand contestant, David Gibson, looked to be in a good position, but it was the experience of our former Australian champion, Glenn Chafe, that saw them secure the 2 points in that particular matchup. Well, as we get set to go with the next matchup in our competition here tonight, Roy Chow Lee from Hamilton, North Island, New Zealand. Roy Chow Lee will be competing against our current 2015 steer wrestling champion, Heath Nichols. Well, as we get set to go in the round of the competition, Heath Nichols won it all at the big National Finals Rodeo Championship in Tamworth, part of the Country Music Festival in Tamworth. Heath works as a livestock agent. New Zealand versus Australia. They get down. Oh, man. Oh, what about the strength of our Australian champion, ladies and gentlemen? Let's put our hands together for him. He's the man that wears the gold buckle in steer wrestling. Heath Nichols of Scone, New South Wales, once again dominates the steer wrestling, and it's the big men of Australian rodeo competition that put us back in control going into our next event here tonight, the saddle bronc riding. Well, as our pickup men will make their way back into the arena, the horses exit. We keep the show moving as we go with the next event in our competition. The New Zealand boys have a little ground to make up. New Zealand are now 5, Australia 9, going into our next competition, the saddle bronc riding. Now, if you turn the time right back to the late 18th century, it was this sport where the sport of Australian rodeo evolved as it is seen today. Men stockmen would challenge one another at the end of many of the big mustering and droving jobs in the west of New South Wales and Queensland to a competition and a wager to see who could ride the roughest, freshest, wildest horse in what they call the stock camp. Well, as we move down to chute number 1, our first contestant out is from Tatura, North Island of New Zealand. He was the runner-up 2015 New Zealand Saddle Bronc riding champion. Graham Gannon, representing New Zealand for his second time here in Sydney. He's 26 years of age, and he will take on one of the campaigners called Little Joe from the Gill Brothers Rodeo Company. Look for a high score and a great start in the competition. Graham Gannon looking to steep down in that saddle, get that spurring motion moving. He does his best for the 8-second period. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for him here tonight. New Zealand contestants looking to qualify, stay up that 8-second period. And he's safely onto the arena surface here in the competition. Scores come through from our officials. 66 points for Graham, 66. The way in which our judges score this particular competition, each judge, Mark Palmer, Jeff Edwards, both former Australian champions and highly regarded in the rodeo world. Saddle bronc riding, bareback riding and bull riding, there are two components to the scoring system. 1 to 25 points from each judge is allocated to the horse's performance. Now, they take into consideration the degree of difficulty, the power, the strength, the change of direction, all attributes to that part of the scoring component. The other section of the scoring, 1 to 25 points from each official, is allocated to the horse's performance. Let's go with Australian Danny Swaddling. Had big wins in recent times at Bendemeer, Barraba and Bundara, and now he's looking to do it again here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a saddler by trade from a little town called Currabubula, south of Tamworth. Let's welcome him to the Sydney Royal Easter Show, Danny Swaddling. $72 points, 72, so that'll be another 2 points to the Australian contestants. 72 points. Well, it's down to the second of our New Zealand saddle bronc riders. We looked and turned our attention down to Jason Carlin. 30 years of age. Jason works as a rural contractor. Now, the New Zealand riders at this point in time, we're halfway through the competition here tonight. They're going to need to build some momentum. They're going to need to turn the mood around a little more positive. He's going to need to get a good, strong start, lift on that rein. Disqualification comes for the buck down, touchdown. Jason Carlin, and a boy, look at the New Zealand cowboy. Give it all, ladies and gentlemen. That fluent spurring motion for Jason Carlin. Siren sounds in the background. Pickup riders, Peter Kelly from the famous Kelly Boys, move in. Look at the way they put him safely onto the arena surface. Jason Carlin, ladies and gentlemen, New Zealand contender of our overall series here this weekend. 70 points from the officials here in the competition, 7-0. Well, as this little horse makes its welcome return back to the unsaddling enclosure, you can just see the way in which they're conditioned for the sport of rodeo. They are professionals in their own world and their own light. They have a magnificent lifestyle up there in the Horton Valley. I've been to the big farm that the Gill brothers produce these stock. They are certainly looked after as good as any of their family. Well, let's go to the next of our Australian riders. He's the 2015 Australian Saddle Bronc riding champion. This is Robert Bendy from the Warra Creek Station, New South Wales, Australia. You make your own assessment, ladies and gentlemen. You can ride pretty, but you can ride better. And he does it all here tonight. The Australian current champion of 2015. Hey, Sydney, let's welcome our team captain, Robert Bendy. Well, watch this on the big screen. Now look for the timing of the ride. The feet placed right forward of the shoulder throughout that entire ride of the competition. Well, the numbers come through, Robert. You can stand tall as he leads by example. Team captain Robert Bandy, 79 points for Team Australia. Well, it's come down to the final of the New Zealand riders this time. This will be Ross Dowling, team captain of New Zealand. Man, Ross Jesse having a little trouble getting organised here into the chute. Things are tending to be a little tough for these riders. New Zealand boys a little tense as we come down to the business end of our program. Don't forget, at the conclusion of saddle bronc riding, we'll go with the dual ladies barrel racing, the pretty ladies, the extremely fast horses. And of course, we finish tonight's program with the most dangerous sport in the world, and that'll be the bull riding competition. And that was a great competition last night. Wade McCarthy from Western Australia won the bull riding with a 77-point score. And the young New Zealand cowboy, Ernie Rika, was also second in the bull riding competition. Oh, we're just set ready to ride with a final of our New Zealand contestants, Ross Dowling on Broken Promises. Well, he's got to do the best for Team New Zealand, and he's doing everything humanly possible, ladies and gentlemen. Well, folks, he's also a team captain. Let's put our hands together for his efforts here, the shining light of Team New Zealand. Hey, let's help and put our hands together for him. Ross Dowling, team captain, New Zealand. Well, numbers come through, Ross. You're going to like it. 77 points. New Zealand team captain, 77. Well, I don't want you to underestimate our next contestant. This is a property manager from Walker in northern New South Wales. This is Bernie McMore. Young man that was born and raised in a pretty high mountain country above Willawarra on the Macleay Valley of New South Wales. He was a runner-up Australian saddle bronc riding champion, spent a year in the United States of America. He has the highest score last night, 75 points, to win the round in the saddle bronc riding competition. And I'll give you a little insight. If he makes the same ride tonight, he's going to be right amongst the winners and losers. Bernie McMore from Walker, New South Wales. Big Palomino horse, and he goes through that spurring motion on. It gets pretty and it gets wild. Whoa, man, he's out of there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Bernie McMore from Walker, New South Wales. $72 points, Bernie, 72 points. So that's going to be 2 points for the New Zealand riders. 1 point to Team Australia. It was 77 points for Ross Dowling, 2 points to New Zealand. And Bernie McMore's 72 points. It was 1 for Team New Zealand. Well, as we come down to the next two events in our competition, the series looking extremely close. Hey, we've got New Zealand on 9, but it's the green and gold, the pride of our nation. They lead on 14 points, Sydney. Let's hear for the Cowboys of Australia. Well, as you see the arena set up in a little different format right at this point of time, we're getting set to go with the dual ladies barrel racing. Pretty ladies, fast horses, it's all against the clock. Lights are utilised as we get set to go with our first competitors in the competition here tonight. Representing the Kiwis here tonight is a little horse called the Cowboy Rock, ridden by Emily Lemont, and representing Team Australia from Bringelly on the southwest side of Sydney is young Hayley Hill. Now, Hayley was 2 years ago the Australian Rookie of the Year in ladies barrel racing. She rides a little chestnut gelding called Mentos. Both these competitors will take the right-hand barrel first. They'll complete in a cloverleaf pattern. They will incur a 5-second penalty should a contestant knock a barrel down. Okay, gates are back and they're off and running. It is Team Australia out early. Big New Zealand grey horse, the Cowboy Rock's out good. Now this is where she can make a little ground up. Hey, the Kiwis cut the corner. It looks like Emily Learmont, the Cowboy Rock, the big grey superstar. He's turned early and it's a race to the finish line. Sydney, let's hear it for him. Hey, and it's 2 points to New Zealand. 2 points to Emily Learmont. It was unfortunate for Hayley Hill. Little horse just hung on momentarily around that second turn, and it was Emily's big grey horse, Cowboy Rock, that just cut the corners and got her home. 2 points to the New Zealand, 1 to Team Australia. Well, this is where things will get a little tense and a little different. Representing New Zealand here tonight is Carla Matthews, one of twin sisters. From the Legends of Morn quarter horse stud, she rides her little 9-year-old Coyote, competing against Marie Oddie. Marie rides a little horse called Jerry, placed second in this round last night. So it's once again Australia versus New Zealand. They're into the first turn now. Australia's knocked a barrel. That'll be a 5-second penalty. New Zealand needs to stay clean. They don't want to have any penalties or they'll incur a 5-second. It's into the final turn now. Let's bring them home, but I think... well, it is going to be, unfortunately, a 5-second penalty added to Team Australia, Mariotti's time. So it'll be 2 points in the matchup. That time it will be New Zealand and a 1 point to Team Australia. Well, the dual barrel racing competition. Third matchup before we go bull riding. Let's get ready to go with our next matchup of the competition. Representing Australia from Coonamble, 4 times Australian barrel racing champion Bianca Hurdle. She won the round last night. She competes against the New Zealand cowgirl Brianna Lemont. Well, they come into that first turn, but the Aussie cowgirl's broken early. She gets around nicely. Hey, look at this. It's the first matchup. Oh, no. Well, she's taken a little too easy, and it's going to be a 5-second penalty to Team Australia. And it'll be 2 points to New Zealand. The Australian girls, they crumbled under a little pressure here tonight. Well, that is going to be disappointing. And look now to our big scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. The New Zealand contestants, as always, they are never out of a competition till the last bull is bucked. Well, the scoreboards, let's check the Spotless Arena scoreboards. We've got New Zealand 15, Australia 17. Whoa, now we're going to need the all might and power as we get ready for the most dangerous sport in the world today. It's what we call the Brahman bull riding. 2 points, which is 1 ride. We've got 3 competitors from Australia, 3 from New Zealand. Last night it was very, very evenly matched, the bull riding competition. But as we get set to go bull riding, there are 2 men I'd like to welcome into our arena tonight. These are the unsung heroes of our entire sport. Let's welcome them back to Sydney, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Warren Norton and Brodie Moss. Big round of applause, our protection men. Well, welcome back, Warren, 8 times Australian protection clown. And with him tonight, I'm going to catch up with him, Brodie Moss, first time to the Sydney Royal Easter Show as a protection bullfighter. What's it feel like to be here in Sydney?
It's pretty exciting, Glenn, and to be fighting alongside Warren Norton's a really good thing. Been around good people.
You certainly are. And, mate, I've watched you over the last couple of years in North Queensland when we go to Cairns, right down through the centre to Emerald. Back in New South Wales, you moved back to Tamworth this year. Yeah,
change of scenery, moved back down, and I've been lucky enough to get a few shows down here too, so keep on going.
Well, I tell you what, you're a great man, and certainly to be the understudy of our 8 times Australian champion. Hey, they're great, folks. Big round of applause for them. They're our protection bullfighters, Warren Norton and the live wire, Brodie Moss. Well, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for bull riding? Hey, listen. I'm sure they make more noise in the rugby league and the cricket than they do for the bull riding competition. You only get to see one international series a year, and that's right here in Sydney. I'll ask you one more time. Are you ready for bull riding? Well, we're going to start with the New Zealand contestants first out here tonight. And the first competitor is a young man that joined it last night. He plays second from Rodeo. North Island contestant Ernie Rika. Now, Ernie is only 23 years of age. He works in the thoroughbred racing industry. He's a track work rider in Rodeo. Last night, he was the second only score of 73 points in the competition. The bull that he's drawn up from below. Each one of these bulls has their own name and characteristics. Some are big, some are strong, and some are lightning fast with their reflexes. Keep your eye on our protection clowns. We met them before, Warren Norton, Brodie Moss. 8 seconds is the time they must ride. Let's see what we can do. First out for New Zealand. Men. Well, ladies and gentlemen, come on, folks. It's once but a year we come to Sydney. We've bought the A-team. Men. Talk about attitude. Our situation is at this point, we try to take the bulls from the arena at the conclusion of every ride. The reason for that is, folks, it's a danger issue to have more than one bull in the arena at any given time. You can understand if a bull rider falls short, falls victim, and you've got one there ready to pounce. It's a good situation to ensure that we've got the arena totally diffused of issues. We may just need to bring out a couple of coaxes, give him a little time to get his bearings. The bull from up from below. Once again, these livestock and bulls are brought to us and supplied here tonight by the famous Gill Brothers Rodeo Company. You can see the way in which this little bull knows where he belongs, back to the hay shed, back to the barn where it all started. Well, it's time to turn our attention down to the 2015 Australasian Bull Riding Champion. You know what, folks? This guy's like a fine wine. This young man is now 37 years of age. Now, in most terms, that is certainly old to be Australian champion. But I've watched this boy come through from the time he was a junior, from 10, 12 years of age, to be last year the hottest bull rider in this country. No man won more money in Australian bull riding than this guy, Jason O'Hearn. He grew up in the mining town of Cessnock in the Hunter Valley. He's since relocated in the northwest of New South Wales with his partner in Tamworth. Jason O'Hearn has drawn a bull called the Eye Candy. Now, this is a Bang-Tang Brahman that I have never, ever seen ridden. It is a beast of nature. Bang-Tang Brahman, Australian champion in action. Boy, it's on. Well, as we predicted, folks, he is a champion in his own world. That is the bull called Eye Candy. Hey, folks, here's an in outlaw. Let's watch this on the big screen. Look at this. He gives him absolutely no chance. And that's why bull riding is ranked as the most dangerous sport in the world today. Well, scores are still wrapped up. New Zealand 15, Australia leads 17. Eye Candy from the Gill Brothers. Well, let's draw your attention back down to New Zealand. This time it is Mick Rowson, 25 years of age. Arrived early last week into Sydney. Went out and attended the big Camden Bull Riding in Western Sydney. Placed second in the round. He was 81 points that night down at Camden. Tonight it's Red Foo. Well, we've all seen Red Foo in action. Now let's see if we can do action in that bull riding arena. New Zealand need to get it started. Well, he's getting around that corner. Hang on. Oh, man. We'll check the officials. I've got it from them, 7.3 seconds. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please join with me and put your hands together for an outstanding effort, but not quite the distance required. 7.3 seconds on an 8-second ride. Disappointing. So close. 0.7 of a second is all that was required. Just a reminder, don't forget, this is only our second night of the International Series. 4 more grueling rounds for our competitors in that bull riding competition. So it's only early days at our Sydney Royal Easter Show competition. Scores still, New Zealand 15, Australia 17. All it is going to take is one single ride for New Zealand to be right back in this competition. One qualified 8-second ride and it'll be game on. Well, as we get set for the matchup of the round of the competition, let's go with the youngest. Now this, folks, is only a teenager from Townsville in North Queensland. This is Braden Welby. Well, Braden has been born into a rodeo family. His mum and dad were North Queensland champions. Competed all over the world representing Australia. The next generation of the Welby family are alive and they're well. Braden Welby has set Australian standings alight in recent times. Let's get it on there, Team Australia. Braden Welby from Townsville. Well, it's just a little different. Should say we went one a little higher that time round. We did believe. Well, he's gone out, unfortunately, with a no score in the competition. Was close, but not quite close enough. Well, let's come down to the next matchup in our competition. This time it'll be New Zealand, Tim MacArthur. Well, Tim is the older of the two brothers. His dad, Hank MacArthur, rodeoed here in the 70s and 80s in the main arena for Team New Zealand. His brother, Jack, represented their country last season. Tim's the older of the two brothers. He's now 27 years of age. Crash is the name of the bull that he will take on here tonight. Now, remember, Tim, all he needs is an 8-second ride. He will bring New Zealand right back into this competition. The pressure's on. The New Zealand contestants at this stage know they need an 8-second qualified ride. Contestant moving forward, getting set over that bull riding rope, getting his body forward. Remember, the free hand at no time is to come in contact with any part of your equipment. And that bull riding equipment. Well, he tries to break his concentration. You get to see firsthand, courtesy of our big screen, the Spotless Arena big screen, as the preparation takes place. This bull has got attitude. See how he tries to break his concentration? Every time he puts his hand in there, he slings those head and horns back. Now, he's going to literally tie his hand in there. He's just trying to get his... get his confidence down a little. It's all about the preparation, the mental preparation for a contestant. Believe in your own ability. Believe you can defy the odds and bring New Zealand back into this competition. Now, he'll tie that wrist nice and tight to a bull that weighs about 900 kilos. He'll move up over the point. He'll give a big nod. You watch the gate crack open. It's showtime in Sydney. Oh, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to put your hands together. Boy, oh boy, bull riding, it is full on here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Watch the big screen. He launched his way out of there, got him to the inside of the spear, and the centrifugal force was just far too great at that point of time for Tim MacArthur to make a recovery. Well, one rider yet to go in our bull riding competition here tonight. We've seen Jason O'Hearn, Wade McCarthy, Braden Welby. Now, they tell me there was a switch on Braden Welby, Wade McCarthy. Wade has actually ridden in Braden's place And now it will be up to Braden. It will be Braden on this occasion. It was a switch there in the last matchup. We're going to go with Braden Welby this time. Wade that rode a few moments ago was 77 points in the first round of our competition. So this is actually the teenager from Townsville. Braden Welby will get ready this time. It was Wade McClarty that rode earlier. Let's see what he can do. The teenage boy from Townsville. He's the youngest of the Australian team. He's still literally in high school, ladies and gentlemen. But boy, he comes here with a big, big reputation. Braden, come here, mate. That's right, bud. Good job, buddy. Come out here, mate. Come out here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've got with us here tonight as we watch it on the big screen, a young man from Townsville in North Queensland, Braden. I remember your mum and dad well before you were born. They were great friends of mine. But just so the people of Sydney understand, how old are you actually right as of today?
19.
19 years of age, and he's representing the country, folks. What about a big round of applause? Now, Braden, your dad, Brian, was here for many, many years, competed in the bulldog and the steer wrest and the bareback riding. Is this your first year for Queensland and Australia, more importantly?
Yeah, it is.
You've already represented Australia a couple of times on the international circuit in America in the high school championship. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
He's a quiet-spoken kid. I tell you what, his dad's a lot more rowdy than what he is. But I tell you what, Braden, ring home tonight, tell mum and dad, Glenn Morgan said, 81 points, the champion of bull riding, the Townsville Whiz Kid, Braden Welby. Well, folks, you get to see it on the big screen. Look at this, 19 years of age. He's got ice in his veins. He's that cool. He has represented Australia. He's represented our nation on numerous occasions in high school events, but now he's on top of the nation. Well, folks, that is the end of our second round of the competition here tonight. And the final scores in round number 2 of our International Rodeo Series. It was New Zealand 15, but the green and gold, the pride of this nation, Australia, amassed 19 points to win round number 2. Let's welcome them back to the Spotless Arena. Led out by team captain Robert Bandy. Congratulations, Robert. We're not at the halfway mark yet, but gee whiz, the comradeship between these both countries, nothing but exceptional. It's a magnificent series here in Sydney, and certainly New Zealand were by far right up amongst it till the very, very last bull on tonight's program. Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed our International Teams Rodeo competition. Round number 2 in the Spotless Arena. We're back tomorrow evening at 6:30 once again. We're going to be here every single night of the Sydney Royal Easter Show with the Australian Poley Buck Jump Championships and the State of Origin Series over Easter. Till then, take care, and we'll hand you back once again to the main ring control team.